the level of control and authority that is just not enumerated anywhere in our social contract. And now we can see very clearly Trump has deceived his supporters. The masses wanted to give Trump a popular mandate so that he would be their warrior. He would, at all costs, even if it came at the expense of the regular formal procedures of government, they wanted the swamp to be drained. They wanted their interests to be affirmed and upheld. Okay? But what are they seeing now? Trump is in bed with Netanyahu. Trump is in the Epstein files. He's absolutely captured by this international network, this mysterious international network, which is tied to Silicon Valley, which is tied to Israel with Netanyahu and the Likudniks, which is tied to the city of London. There's this kind of shadow global ruling class that has been trying to assert a new path. I don't know. People are calling it feudalism. People are calling it a lot of things. Techno-feudalism. In any case, he's doing a lot that is in excess of what he was voted in for on behalf of this global gang, this global ruling clique, whatever you want to call it. And I'm not saying that the answer is to go back to Democrats, because you can't, because it was Biden that laid the foundation. Something you should also keep in mind. Trump is laying the foundation for the possibility if Democrats return in 2028. It's not like they're going to revert all of these unconstitutional things Trump has been pursuing. So this is how the ruling class is playing a game with itself as a way to redirect and control mass anger and grievance with the system. Okay, and that's just a fact. And they're all part of the same team because they're both on the Epstein files. Both the Democrats and the Republicans are in the Epstein files. That's a fact. They're playing a ball game. The ball is the unrest and anger of the masses. When it's Trump's turn to have the ball, he pretends that he is avenging their interests. He's fulfilling their interests. He's channeling their rage. Okay, then when Trump fucks up, the ball passes to the Democrats. And back and forth and back and forth. And meanwhile, these are the same people on the same private jet going to the same fucking island with Jeffrey Epstein. And that's just a fact. That's just a rotten, unfortunate truth. And now, the conflict has gone beyond the elites and has become a conflict among the American people. Because the conflict is at the level of institutional dysfunction. The top elites, Trump, the Clintons, whatever, they may all be on the same team with each other, but there's a huge bureaucracy. There's a huge government bureaucracy. There's all of these other forms of hegemony in the institutions, media, academia, all of these NGOs. And those influence politics at the most local level. On the Republican side of things, you have the mega churches, you have the evangelical churches. So you have all of these civil institutions, unofficial, non-government institutions, that have to be these retainers of the duopoly game that the ruling class is playing. And that is where the civil conflict is coming from. Very reluctantly, the ruling class is going to have to acquiesce to a civil war. That's what's pushing the country in this direction. They created this duopoly system, which was meant to manage and contain the contradictions in this country. But those contradictions are now imploding our institutions. People don't trust the ruling institutions anymore, and there's now a conflict between this contradiction, which the ruling class has always tried to manage, and the Constitution itself. Because the Constitution and the form of government that we've had for hundreds of years cannot account for the degree of partisanship and civil strife that we're now facing. And guys, I'm not here to sell you on any optimism in the short term. I'm here to give you the blunt truth that there's no fucking way out of this. A civil war is coming in this country. I can't tell you when it's coming. I can't tell you it's coming in 2026, but I'd keep my eye on the midterm elections, which are almost certainly going to be contested. because of the conflict between the Democrats and Republicans over the drawing of the electoral districts. I can almost certainly tell you that the election of 2028 will not be easy and will be contested. And these are precisely the things that create an atmosphere of civil war. And civil war can also mean civil strife. What's keeping at bay the implosion of civil society, the formation of gangs, violence on a mass scale? We saw what they did with Charlie Kirk. Clearly, they're trying to get ahead of it in some kind of way by staging that it was an extension of this duopoly thing with the left liberals and the right. So clearly, they're trying to get ahead of it in some kind of way. That's absolutely clear. But more importantly, what is preventing that now from accelerating into something out of control? Well, the unified armed forces of the state. But guess what is breaking down? And you see it in the news all the time. You see it on a regular basis on the news. There's a conflict over the control of the armed forces of the state. Just recently, some Democratic congressmen were on record. They filmed a video of themselves telling members of the armed forces and of the military to resist unconstitutional and unlawful orders. That's up for interpretation, and it still is in the courts. Mind you, the courts have not resolved any of this. So that is all still up for interpretation, okay? That's a really scary scenario if you're someone who happens to believe in the longevity of American institutions and in the longevity of civil peace in this country. The conflict over the armed forces is the most fundamental breaking. It's the thin line between the semblance of order that we know it's a semblance of order. There's such an explosive, violent rage in this country. We saw it with Luigi. We saw it with a lot of other things. It's waiting to explode, and all of you know that. The immense hatred and grievance and resentment that exists in this country, whether it's racial hatred, whether it's something irrational, whether it's sexual grievance, we don't fucking know. It's ready to explode. I'm not saying this is a good thing. I'm saying in the short term, it's going to be a horrific thing. And don't think that the mere continuity of the government bureaucracy is going to protect us, because it's falling apart as we speak. And we are coming up to a breaking point and a flashpoint where all hell is going to break loose.